igama uDumsana Prince, ngiyanamukela ohlelweni Masifune Amagugu. Ungubani uNkulunkulu wakho? Today's theme is a question to all of us. This is the question we all need to answer. Who is the African God? Can you really say that you know yourself yet you don't know who is your God? Others may say God is God, but in reality, many of the present day worshippers are being told not to ask such questions and told it doesn't matter as long as you worship. Modimu Gimutim. People are still kept in the dark. The man without God is like a tree without its roots, like a house built on sand. When rainy storms pours, greater will be the fall of that house. Yet on Masifune Amagugu, sifuna ukwazi ukuthi ungubani uNkulunkulu wethu. Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi kungani avumele abantu bakhe bahlupheke futhi bacindezelwe kanzima. How was he feeling when the blacks were taken into slavery, being abused in their own land? What does God require of us? Today we will be digging and searching for the truths until we find our treasure. Namuhla sizothola amagugu eqiniso. If you want someone to get to know you, the first logic thing you do is to tell him your name, and the rest may follow. About 5,000 years ago, Moshe was on the field shepherding Jethro's sheep, and suddenly he noticed that the thorn bush was on fire, and yet the thorn bush was not consumed by the fire. Then he decided to go investigate this strange sight. That's when he met the African God and was told by this God to remove his sandals, for the ground he was standing on is a holy ground. The presence of the true God can make even the ground holy. Check the following statement from God. I am the God of your forefathers. I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then the conversation continued. I hope you've read that in the Bible books. Then we come to the topic of the day. Who is your God? Ungubani uNkulunkulu wakho? Can you trace back your family lineage by your God? Is the God we are worshiping now the God of your forefathers? Is there any relationship between your forefathers and your God? He told Moshe, I am the God of. Then we met his forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Then Moshe hid his face because he was afraid to look at the true God. Remember, Moshe was raised by an Egyptian princess and was schooled on best schools in the world. He was learning with the princes of Egypt and having a right to call Pharaoh himself Aga, and Pharaoh would call him Shanawam. Then the true God, before he could use him, he starts by decolonizing his mind, by reminding him of who he is, because he wanted to be decolonized. Remember, he killed an Egyptian to protect an Israelite. So God decolonizes him by cleansing him, taking out the stain, the history, the worship of the slave master's gods. Your God is now on the burning bush, burning a thorn bush, calling to an African child, saying, look, I am the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. I am your true God. Don't think that God is white because you are educated and you can speak big English words. Your God is not white. That's what Moshe had to learn. Come, let your true God decolonize you. Clean this whiteness out of you. Cleanse the being Egypt out of you. When I speak of ancestors or forefathers, please be advised, I'm not speaking of spirit mediums. Angikhulumi ngamadlozi nezangoma. maybe ngolunye usuku siyokhuluma ngawo, but today ngikhuluma ngoNkulunkulu wabokhokho bethu, the God of our forefathers. Who is the God of our forefathers? Moshe wanted the answers, so he asked the true God. Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your forefathers has sent me to you. Then they say to me, what is his name? What should I say to them? So God said to Moshe, I will become what I choose to become. He added, this is what you are to say to the Israelites. I will become has sent me to you. Meaning, you can't be drawing him because he becomes what he chooses to be in a certain time. Moshe became confused. The true God lastly told him straight, because he was used to the images of Egypt. He was used to the white gods. But now there is a true God who wants him to know him. Then he said, Yahweh, the God of your forefathers. Then he said, this is my name forever. And this is how I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Now, I want us to know that our God's name is Yahweh. And if a God has a name, it means he's alive. He's there. Ungikhona. Sesiyalazi igama lakhe nguYahweh. Now we want to know if he cares about us. If he cares that we've been taken into slavery. It worries me that the so-called Christian churches were there and quiet, if not promoting slavery and black oppression by the whites. Teaching black children to play nice with the oppressors. Teaching the black child how to enjoy being a slave. They love your enemy teaching. Don't kill whilst you're being killed every day. I'm telling you, that's not our God. And that's not our God's teaching. But it's the teaching of the slave master's God and the church. Yahweh is the God who wants the captives free. He told Moshe, now go gather the elders of Israel and say to them, Yahweh, the God of your forefathers, has appeared to me, and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then he said, I have certainly taken notice of you and what is being done to you in Egypt. So I say, I will take you out from affliction at the hands of the Egyptians. There's the message to the slavers today. Message to the church. Yahweh has noticed us and the way you have maltreated us. The affliction you caused to an African child. There is a writing on the wall. Mene, mene, tekel, obasin. Yahweh is not a weak God, but he allowed us to be captured for 400 years. Why? Isaiah chapter 1 says, hear, O heavens, and pay attention, O earth, for Yahweh has spoken. Sons I have brought up and raised, but they revolted against me. God is calling the Israelite sons that has revolted, decided to worship other gods. Verse 2 says, a bull well knows its buyer, and a donkey the monger of its owner, but Israel does not know me. My own people do not behave with understanding. Woe to the sinful nation, the people weighed down with error, a brood of wicked men, corrupt children. They have abandoned Yahweh. They have treated the Holy One of Israel with disrespect. They have turned their backs on him. Where will you be struck? Because you add to your rebellion. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart is diseased. Your land is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Foreigners devour your land right in front of you. It's like a wasteland overthrown by foreigners. If you show willingness and listen, you will eat the good things of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken. Your princes are stubborn and partners with thieves. Every one of them loves a bribe and chases after gifts, and the legal case of a widow never reaches them. Manje sesiyazi ukuthi why uYahweh Elohim wethu allowed that we get colonized, because we have forgotten him and started to worship these white demonic gods and forsake our own. But he is still a merciful God, that he did not allow the enemy to kill us all. He is back to rescue us if we are willing and listen. He is calling, I am Yahweh your God, the God of your forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. He wants us to know him and be back to him. Come back to the Garden of Eden. Come back to Africa. Come back to Alkebulan. Alkebulan is the real name of Africa, by the way. It means motherland or Garden of Eden. We have been colonized that it's hard even to pronounce the name of our own land. Africa, come back to your God. Here's the promise he's giving us. You must correct the oppressor. Yahweh will enter into judgment with the elders and the princes of your people. You have burned down the vineyard, and what you have stolen from the poor people is still in your houses. How dare you crush my people and grind the faces of the poor and the dead, declares the sovereign Lord, Yahweh of armies. Chapter 65, it says, my people will build houses and live in them. They will plant vineyards and eat their fruitage. They will not build for someone else to inherit, nor will they plant for others to eat. And the work of their hands, my chosen one, will be enjoyable. They will enjoy to the full. Africa, God wants us back and build and enjoy Alkebulan. He continues saying, they will not toil for nothing, nor will they bear children for distress, because they are the offspring made up of those blessed by Yahweh, and their descendants with them. Yahweh is our God. He is here to rescue us. He is here to set us free, be decolonized, be true people of Alkebulan, and we can enjoy AMAGUGU without any stress. We can enjoy our own treasures. Let's enjoy with a rejoicing heart.